So let's dive in. J-Mart, you really were fired up before the break, before we got to DeSager, about the idea. So we have a new audience every couple minutes, but for people who are just joining us, we were talking about the disaster that is the WNBA. They can only create headlines when there is racial tension in that league. I think it's impossible. Listen, I'll just say this, and I want to get to the Adam Silver part. I think it's impossible to deny that they can only create headlines when there is racial tension. And you know how I know that? It's because today, literally the biggest star in the league, Caitlin Clark, was playing the defending champion New York Liberty, and no one cared. No one knew anything about it. Now, maybe in the final minute, literally in the final seconds, there was a controversial non-foul call, but this wasn't like hyped. People weren't excited. And so, again, it just feels like a league that, again, cannot create interest if there is not racial tension. And before the break, you were mentioning, J-Mart, that you think there is someone that should be held accountable or needs to start holding people accountable. So I want to give you the floor to expand on that.
Yeah, so I don't know that he needs to be held accountable, but I think that he has some power here. I think he has some leverage, and if the league wants to stay quiet, this being the WNBA, then Adam Silver needs to step up and say this is a bad look for basketball in general. Basically you don't exist without the NBA. You need to rein this in. You need to stop this. I gave you a stat in a text message that I'd heard in the last couple of days. 17% of the flagrant fouls called last season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was a victim. Wow. 17%.
Crazy.
What was funny about it is when I saw that, I was like, man, I'm surprised it wasn't higher.
Sure.
But it was like 1/5, basically, just short of 1/5 of all the flagrant calls in the WNBA were fouls where somebody was brutalizing Caitlin Clark. And, of course, we're talking about this borderline. Yeah, it was a hard foul, but I think it was a hard foul that was in retaliation from Angel Reese pushing her teammate, there being a no call on the play, and her not wanting to give up a layup. And I think that, yeah, if the WNBA is going to do nothing, if they're just going to sit on their hands, then this is where Adam Silver needs to be the adult in the room for them. If they don't want to do this, if they're, and I don't know if you're complicit in it, if you're the WNBA, or if you have some kind of, if you're kind of on the side of some of these players and you're cool watching this happen in front of you, whatever it is, something needs to change here, because it's not even that it's a bad look. This is bottom of the sea level discourse that you end up with because of what you're allowing to happen in this league. There's no reason for this. And this is one of the reasons, by the way, Aaron, that last year or during the offseason, many people, including us, were frustrated with what Caitlin Clark was saying when she would win, like, the Time Athlete of the Year award and things like this. It's like she was sort of bowing as she was doing it, apologizing for all of these things and trying to build up everybody else in the league in the moment. It's like, I know what you're doing, but I hate to tell you it's not going to be enough. They hate you. Mm-hmm. They despise you. It's gross. It's completely ridiculous, but it's also very transparently accurate. Like, you're not going to be able to bend the knee far enough, and you're going to have to keep on doing it. And now that they've seen you do it once, they're going to force you to do it over and over and over and over again, and they're still going to hate your guts. And I think the biggest problem with all of this is, like, you could see it coming, and it's come from so many different places. Like, yes, Angel Reese, but we saw this all last year with other players. We also saw Dawn Staley say something about the Iowa team in the Final Four a couple of years ago. Cheryl Swoops, can't stop saying bad stuff about Caitlin Clark, and that was dating back to the Iowa days. You've heard this from, every corner, and no one has done anything about it, which tells me you all agree with it. If that's the consensus in the league, I got to say, that's just unacceptable. It's a league that I want to see fail. It's a league that I want to watch burn itself to the ground at this point, because they have decided that they want to go for the lowest common denominator as opposed to trying to build their own product, which then tells me that your product must suck. Your product must stink raw, because if it was good at all, you would try to mitigate this and go somewhere else. When you've got these kinds of conflicts and things like that happening, you try to kind of bring down the temperature. And it seems like the WNBA is interested in doing the exact opposite. And unfortunately for them, it is one of the best players in the league against a much less skilled version of Ben Wallace without the tact in Angel Reese, and that's a problem.
And without the self-awareness of who she is.
Yes.
Because, Ben Wallace at least knew what his role was and played it well. I don't disagree with anything you said. And I do – and listen – and I'll say this too, and I don't know if people are perceiving what you said as a crazy take. I don't think it's a crazy take at all to say that Adam Silver absolutely has the authority to step in and basically say, listen, if you guys can't control your league and the discourse around it, then I'm going to step in and do something as well. Obviously, I think everybody listening understands that the WNBA is owned by the NBA. It obviously runs itself, but it is also financially subsidized by the NBA and has been since the day it started. And so, I certainly think Adam Silver's got his own issues to deal with, but I also think, listen, I think like you said, I think it is a black eye on the entire sport of basketball. And, we can criticize the NBA for a lot. There's a lot of things that need to be improved on the court, off the court, load management, whatever. But at least at the end of the day, we're still talking about the games as they happen, right? Like we came on and we opened the show talking Minnesota OKC Game 3. And I understand that not every WNBA game is going to be covered in the same manner. But like I said, to lead the segment, it doesn't feel – I can't remember the last time someone discussed something about a game that was based on the result in the game. It doesn't happen, or it certainly doesn't cut through. And again, and I think you can sit there and say, well, just nobody's going to talk. But it's like there are storylines. As I said to lead the segment, or maybe it was last segment, I can't remember. Dallas Wings have Paige Beckers. Haven't heard a peep out of her. Earlier on Saturday, we had a matchup of Caitlin Clark and the most marketable team in the league versus the defending champ. It was crickets in the lead up to that game. And so I just bring it up because it's such a crap show, and I don't think it's crazy for what you said of Adam Silver as someone who is quite literally subsidizing this league and has been for 25 plus years to step in and say, listen, we can't be having a national race discourse every single time that you guys take the court. You guys got to be better. You guys got to figure it out. I don't disagree with you at all.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you're trying to get away from, is this kind of crap. Like, that's why you watch sports. You want to escape into it. You want to watch these guys and these gals doing things at the highest level if you're a fan of whatever the sport is. You don't need this. Like, sometimes some of these things are going to bubble up. But this is one of the problems I had, and I don't want to get into it because we actually agreed. We just didn't have enough. Like, we just didn't have enough interest in going down this road because it was so easy a couple of weeks ago. But this is why I didn't like what Draymond Green said when he had his take a few weeks ago about the race issue and all this. It's like, dude, I know what you're doing. Just don't feed into this beast, please. And I'm going to say something else real quick about Draymond Green. I wish he would stop playing because I actually think he's okay on TV. I'm actually entertained by like how he breaks down the game and how he talks about the game. I don't want to see him play, and I can't stand just the way in which he kind of holier than thou's himself and tries to play the victim at the same time that he is also the perpetrator left and right. But there's a lot of Angel Reese in that as well. But if the WNBA, I feel like they have done nothing over this past year and a half, but beg normal human beings not to watch their league. And because we're already kind of geared not to watch that league, that's not a hard sell, man. It's really not. Like, I can do plenty of other stuff, man. I can build more. It gives me more tower time than I can build towers with my kids. That gives me more time to read. It gives me time to play games. It gives me time to do anything else than watch that league. So if they don't want me to watch and they want to continually do this way and say things that they are saying and behave in the manner in which they are behaving, then I'm cool, man. Like, I got plenty of other stuff on the schedule. I got a backlog of things that I've wanted to watch for a long time. So I don't even need to check the box scores, man. Good luck to Caitlin Clark and good luck to the rest of the league, but I'm done.
Nothing else to add. It's sad what the league has become. And by the way, it's sad how predictable it is, whereas you and I said at right around this time last week, we saw the foul and we knew the discourse coming even before it happened.